Never let this happen to you. Getting your ankles broken is every defender's worst nightmare. But is it really magical handles or defensive mistakes? So today we're focusing on the defensive side of getting crossed and breaking down what really causes these ankle breakers and how to make sure you never get crossed up again. Let's dive in.
Oh man, what a defensive play. Tremendous defense. Wow.
Before we get into the types of ankle breakers and how to avoid them, we've got to clear up one of the biggest myths on this topic, that only bad defenders get crossed. That's just not true. Some of the very best defenders in the world, Marcus Smart, Patrick Beverley, Lou Dort, Avery Bradley, they've all gotten crossed at some point. Now, it's not common, but the reason it happens is because they're actually defending. They're pressuring the ball, sliding their feet, and trying to disrupt the other team's best players. So once in a while, it's bound to happen. Just like a great shot blocker will occasionally get dunked on, but that doesn't deter them, because most of the time, they're coming up with a huge play. It's the same with ankle breakers. The occasional slip comes with the territory. Now compare that to a player who doesn't pressure at all. Sure, their ankles aren't breaking, but their defense is, just without the highlight, and that's not lockdown defense. So remember, if you've never gotten crossed, it doesn't automatically mean you're an elite defender. It might just mean you're not guarding very hard at all, because great defense takes courage, and sometimes that means taking risks. So now that we know ankle breakers can happen to anyone, the next step is understanding why they happen. And not all ankle breakers are created equal. In fact, I like to put them in two big categories. Category number one is what I call incidental contact. They look bad on a highlight tape, but they're not true ankle breakers to me. Category 2 is where it gets real. These are defensive technique mistakes. That's when the defender's footwork or stance breaks down, and that's when the offense can take advantage. Let's break each of these down one by one. First up, incidental contact. These are the ankle breakers that get me the most upset. They look nasty on a highlight tape, but they're not really bad defense. Watch this play. LeBron steps on the defender's foot, causing the defender to lose balance. For anyone who has ever had this happen to them, it's not truly poor defense, it's just physics. Anyone would fall in that situation. In fact, these are the most common types of ankle breakers on highlight reels and mixtapes. So I guess the true moral of the story is, if you're an offensive player, be a lot more aggressive with your foot space. But other examples can occur when the defender's feet get tangled with even a screener's feet. Again, it looks like the dribble move caused the breakdown, but in reality, it was just foot traffic. Same thing goes for heavy contact. Sometimes the offensive player lowers their shoulder and extends a quick push-off. If the ref doesn't call a charge, almost any defender would get knocked off balance, especially if executing advanced footwork. Now, there are ways to prevent that with strong cores and good foundation, but remember, not every highlight you see is a defender getting embarrassed. Sometimes it's just feet getting tangled and incidental contact. The real ankle breakers to me happen in category number 2. These are the ankle breakers that are preventable and only happen when a defender's technique breaks down. And there are 4 big mistakes you'll see over and over again. Mistake number 1, the turn and run. When a defender fully turns their hips and chest to chase the ball into recovery. Here, you're at the mercy of the ball handler. If they stop on a dime, you'll be lost for good. These clips are the reason why some coaches say crossing your feet can get you beat. But if you follow this channel long enough, you'll know it's all about the technique you use. The turn and run is very different than the crossover slide. The crossover slide you'll see used by countless great defenders, allowing you to still cover large amounts of space while keeping your chest square to the ball and applying body pressure to prevent those dribble moves. And if they do stop on a dime, you'll still be in position to spring back and contest. Mistake number 2 is overreaching, lunging for steals and getting greedy. And when most players go for steals, they lose their balance and their footwork breaks down even before the move happens, which brings up a phrase I actually agree with. You reach, I teach. Steals should be like candy, a treat every once in a while, but if that's your whole diet, man, you're in trouble. Mistake number 3, playing on your heels. Great defenders are always on the balls of their feet, ready to push in any direction even when moving backwards, like Herb Jones in this clip. His heels hardly ever touch the ground because once your weight shifts back, you're basically on skates. It's a small detail, but it makes all the difference. Heels are one of the first things I look at when consulting with players and breaking down their movement inefficiencies on defense. And if you're interested in meeting with me one-on-one and going over your film, there's a special preseason offer right now on lockdowndefense.com. So if you're interested in working together, check out more in the link below. But let's get back to the last mistake, and it's one of the most common we see in ankle breaker situations. Mistake number 4, exposing your top foot. If your stance gives the offense a clear attack point, they're going to attack it. And every time you flip your hips to expose the next top foot, well, that's how one breakdown snowballs into multiple. This is especially common with big men, who are trying to use their length in isolation by keeping distance. But that cushion paired with an angled defensive stance is exactly what can get them in trouble. Smart defenders know how to protect their top foot, angle their stance only when pressuring, or use a square stance to shade or catch attacks with their chest. So there you have it. Those are the real causes of ankle breakers. Fix these and you'll make getting crossed almost disappear from your game. But how do we take this one step further? Well, the good news is you can train to avoid these mistakes, and it comes down to the way you move. The first drill is the tail slide. By repping our lateral footwork technique with a resistance band anchored behind us, you are automatically putting your body weight and force on the balls of your feet. Shift your weight to your heels in this drill and the band will pull you off balance. It's a simple and effective self-correcting movement drill. Another is mastering the crossover slide and avoiding the turn and run. That requires drills to disassociate the lower body from the upper body while also generating the force and balance to execute the movement pattern properly. Those are just 2 examples, and inside the Lockdown Academy, you'll find the full breakdown and a ton more. This is your all-in-one resource to becoming a lockdown defender. So if you're serious about leveling up your defense, you'll find the complete system linked in the description below. And if you want to see how one of the best defenders in the game doesn't expose his top foot, check out our recent Davion Mitchell breakdown. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and send this video to someone whose ankles have been broken. As always, I'm Coach Mike with Lockdown Defense. Keep up the hard work.